Welcome. Today we're taking a quick look at the top 4 half-dollar coins from the United States of America. From classic silver designs to modern issues, these coins can be valuable depending on condition, mint marks, and rarity. Whether circulated or uncirculated, small details can make a big difference for collectors. Let's get started. First up, the United States of America half-dollar coin from 1995 is a fascinating piece that often goes unnoticed in everyday life, yet it carries a depth of history and mystery that can surprise even experienced collectors. At first glance, it may look like just another large silver-colored coin, but when you slow down and truly observe it, you begin to realize that this half-dollar represents decades of American tradition, minting craftsmanship, and circulation stories. This coin has traveled through countless hands, pockets, and registers, silently witnessing the flow of everyday life in the United States while carrying its own hidden potential. This particular half-dollar was struck in 1995 with a D mint mark, meaning it was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the most respected and historically important mints in the country. The Denver Mint has long been known for its strong strikes and consistent quality, and coins bearing the D mint mark are often closely examined by collectors looking for unique characteristics. Even when a coin shows signs of wear or damage, its origin at the Denver Mint still adds an important layer of interest and credibility in the numismatic world. The coin is in damaged condition, which might cause many people to overlook it at first. Scratches, nicks, or surface wear can make a coin seem less attractive to the untrained eye, but seasoned collectors understand that damage does not always erase value. In fact, sometimes damage can tell a powerful story about the coin's journey. Each mark can represent years of circulation, moments of history, and real human interaction, turning the coin into a physical record of time rather than just a preserved object. When you hold this 1995 half-dollar in your hand, its weight immediately stands out. The half-dollar has always been a symbol of substance and presence in American coinage. It feels solid, confident, and meaningful, reminding us of an era when larger coins were more commonly used and appreciated. This physical presence adds to its charm and makes it stand apart from smaller denominations that often go unnoticed. The obverse of the coin features the familiar portrait that has defined the half-dollar for generations. Even in damaged condition, the strong lines and recognizable features remain visible, showcasing the skill of the engravers who designed it. The portrait represents leadership, resilience, and national identity, themes that continue to resonate regardless of the coin's physical state. The surrounding inscriptions anchor the coin firmly in American history and reinforce its official status as United States currency. On the reverse side, the design carries its own sense of power and symbolism. Though wear and damage may have softened some of the finer details, the overall image still communicates strength and tradition. The reverse design of the half-dollar has always been intended to reflect national pride and authority, and even after years of circulation, that message remains intact. The balance between artistry and symbolism is a key reason why collectors remain drawn to this denomination. Damage on a coin often sparks debate among collectors, but it can also increase curiosity. People begin to ask questions about how the damage occurred, where the coin has been, and what kind of history it has witnessed. Was it carried for years in someone's pocket, dropped countless times, or stored improperly? These unknowns add an element of mystery that can make the coin even more compelling than a perfectly preserved example. The D mint mark is an especially important detail for collectors. Mint marks are like signatures, quietly telling you where a coin was born. The Denver Mint has produced millions of coins, but each one still carries a unique combination of strike, wear, and character. For collectors who focus on mint varieties, the presence of the D mint mark instantly elevates the coin's significance and places it within a specific production context. Coins from the 1990s often exist in large numbers, but that does not mean every example is common or uninteresting. Certain conditions, errors, or unusual characteristics can transform an ordinary coin into something special. Even a damaged coin can hold unexpected value if it aligns with the right collector interest or market demand. This is why experienced collectors never dismiss a coin too quickly. The half-dollar denomination itself has an interesting place in American culture. Once widely used, it gradually faded from everyday circulation, making modern examples feel slightly nostalgic. A 1995 half-dollar represents a transitional period when the coin was still being minted in large numbers but was already becoming less common in daily transactions. This adds a subtle layer of historical context to the piece. Collectors often emphasize that value is not determined by appearance alone. Factors such as mint mark, year, rarity, demand, and historical relevance all play crucial roles. Damage may lower value in some cases, but in others, it simply changes the type of collector who might be interested. Some collectors specialize in unusual, damaged, or heavily circulated coins precisely because of the stories they tell. The surface of this coin, marked by wear and damage, reflects the reality of circulation. Unlike pristine coins locked away in collections, this half-dollar lived an active life. It participated in real commerce, passed between people, and became part of everyday routines. That lived experience gives it authenticity and depth that cannot be replicated by untouched examples. Many people unknowingly spend coins that could be worth far more than their face value. Half-dollars are especially vulnerable to this because they are less commonly used today, leading people to underestimate their potential worth. A damaged 1995 half-dollar with a D mint mark might sit unnoticed in a drawer or jar, waiting for someone to recognize its significance. The excitement of coin collecting often comes from discovery. Finding value where others see none is part of the thrill. Coins like this one remind collectors to stay curious, examine details closely, and never assume that condition alone determines worth. Every coin has a story, and sometimes those stories are hidden beneath scratches and wear. The Denver Mint's reputation adds credibility to this coin's background. Knowing where and how a coin was produced helps collectors understand its place in the broader landscape of American coinage. Even decades later, the mint mark continues to speak for the coin, connecting it to a long tradition of craftsmanship and production excellence. Damaged coins can also appeal to collectors interested in error analysis or circulation patterns. Studying wear and damage can reveal how coins interact with their environment over time. This transforms the coin from a simple collectible into an educational tool, offering insight into real-world use and material durability. The half-dollar's design, size, and symbolism make it a favorite among many collectors. Even in less than perfect condition, it commands attention and respect. Next up. The United States of America half-dollar coin from the year 2000 is one of those coins that quietly blends into everyday life, yet holds a fascinating story for anyone willing to pause and look closer. At first sight, this coin may seem ordinary, especially because it comes from a modern era and often appears in circulated condition. But beneath its worn surface lies a connection to American history, minting tradition, and the changing role of the half-dollar in daily transactions. When you hold a 2000 half-dollar in your hand, the first thing you notice is its size and weight. Unlike smaller coins that are easily forgotten, the half-dollar has a presence that demands attention. It feels solid, balanced, and purposeful, reminding us of a time when larger coins played a stronger role in commerce. Even in circulated condition, this weight carries a sense of importance that smaller denominations cannot replicate. This particular coin was struck without a mint mark, which indicates that it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia Mint is the oldest mint in the United States and holds a special place in the nation's history. Coins without mint marks are often overlooked by casual collectors, yet they represent the original minting tradition and are deeply rooted in American numismatic heritage. The year 2000 itself is significant. It marked the beginning of a new millennium, a moment filled with global anticipation, technological change, and cultural shifts. Coins minted during this period capture that sense of transition. This half-dollar stands as a small but tangible reminder of a historic turning point, making it more than just a piece of metal used for change. In circulated condition, the coin shows signs of real-world use. Light wear, softened details, and a slightly dull surface all speak to the journey this coin has taken. It has passed through countless hands, been exchanged in stores, and possibly traveled across states. Each mark adds character and transforms the coin into a storyteller of everyday American life. The obverse design of the half-dollar remains iconic. Even with circulation wear, the portrait is instantly recognizable and carries a sense of dignity and strength. This design has endured for decades, symbolizing leadership, resilience, and national identity. The fact that it still commands respect after years of use highlights the power of thoughtful coin design. Turning to the reverse, the imagery continues to communicate tradition and authority. Though some fine details may be softened by circulation, the overall design remains bold and meaningful. It reflects the ideals and values the coin was meant to represent, serving as a reminder that even everyday currency is carefully crafted with symbolism in mind. Many people assume that circulated coins have little to no value beyond face value. However, experienced collectors know that this assumption can be misleading. Factors such as year, mint origin, production numbers, and collector demand all influence a coin's worth. Even a circulated $half from the year 2000 can hold surprising potential under the right circumstances. The $half denomination itself has an interesting story. Once widely used, it gradually faded from everyday circulation as habits changed and smaller coins became more common. By the time the year 2000 arrived, the $half was already becoming a rarity in daily transactions. This shift adds an extra layer of intrigue to modern $half, making them feel slightly nostalgic despite their relatively recent age. Coins without mint marks often spark curiosity among collectors. Some see them as plain, while others recognize their importance as products of the Philadelphia Mint. This contrast in perception creates opportunities for discovery, especially for collectors who appreciate subtle details and historical continuity. The circulated condition of this coin makes it especially relatable. Unlike pristine collector pieces locked away in cases, this $half lived a real life. It was used, exchanged, and relied upon as money. That authenticity can be more appealing than perfection, especially for collectors who value history and real-world connection. Modern coins are often underestimated in the collecting world, but that mindset is slowly changing. As time passes, coins from the late 20th and early 21st centuries are gaining attention. Collectors are beginning to realize that modern issues can carry meaningful value and historical significance, particularly when tied to important moments like the turn of the millennium. The Philadelphia Mint's role in producing this coin adds depth to its story. As the birthplace of American coinage, the Mint's output carries a sense of origin and continuity. Holding a coin without a mint mark connects you directly to this legacy, linking past and present through metal and design. Circulated coins can also reveal fascinating details about minting quality and durability. Studying wear patterns helps collectors understand how coins age over time and how different designs withstand circulation. This $half becomes not just a collectible, but also a small lesson in material science and craftsmanship. The $half's declining use in everyday transactions makes each circulated example feel more special. It is a reminder of changing economic habits and evolving currency preferences. This transition adds historical context that enhances the coin's appeal beyond its face value. For many collectors, the joy lies in finding value where others see none. A circulated 2000 $half without a mint mark might sit unnoticed in a drawer or jar, waiting for someone with knowledge and curiosity to recognize its potential significance. The coin's surface, shaped by years of handling, reflects the rhythm of daily life. It has been part of countless small moments, purchases, and exchanges. This lived experience gives the coin a sense of humanity that pristine examples sometimes lack. Collectors often emphasize patience and observation. Coins like this encourage people to slow down, examine details, and question assumptions. What seems common today may become sought after tomorrow, especially as fewer examples remain in circulation. The year 2000 also represents optimism and uncertainty, a moment when the world stood on the edge of change. This $half captures that atmosphere in a subtle way, acting as a quiet artifact of a global milestone. The design consistency of the $half across decades creates a sense of continuity. Seeing the same imagery on a coin from the year 2000 as on much older examples reinforces the idea that some symbols endure despite changing times. As interest in coin collecting grows online, more people are sharing stories of surprising finds and unexpected values. This has inspired many to revisit their own collections and spare change, often leading to renewed appreciation for coins like this one. The circulated condition does not erase the coin's identity. Instead, it highlights its journey and resilience. Each softened edge and worn detail tells a story of survival and use, adding depth to its character. Coins from the early 2000s are still young enough to feel familiar, yet old enough to spark curiosity. This balance makes them particularly interesting to a new generation of collectors who are redefining what is considered collectible. Understanding a coin's background transforms how it is perceived. Next up, the United States of America $half coin from the year 1979 is one of those coins that quietly carries history in its metal, even when it appears ordinary at first glance. Many people have seen this coin, some may have spent it, and others may have ignored it completely, yet very few truly stop to appreciate what it represents. This $half comes from a period of change in America, a time when the economy, culture, and daily life were shifting, and that story is captured within this single piece of currency. When you pick up a 1979 half-dollar, the weight immediately feels different from smaller coins. It has a solid presence that reminds you the half-dollar was once an important part of everyday transactions. Even in circulated condition, the coin feels substantial, as if it carries a sense of purpose that has not faded with time. This physical weight alone often sparks curiosity in collectors and casual observers alike. This particular coin was minted without a mint mark, which means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia Mint holds a special place in American history as the original mint of the United States. Coins without mint marks are sometimes overlooked, but they are deeply connected to the nation's earliest minting traditions, making them historically meaningful despite their simplicity. The year 1979 sits at an interesting point in American history. It was a time of economic challenges, cultural shifts, and evolving monetary habits. Coins minted during this era were witnesses to inflation concerns, changing consumer behavior, and the gradual decline of larger coins in everyday use. This half-dollar is a quiet artifact from that period, holding memories of an America in transition. In circulated condition, the coin shows signs of its journey. Softened details, light scratches, and worn edges all suggest it was used as intended. Rather than diminishing its character, this wear adds personality and authenticity. Each mark represents countless exchanges, purchases, and moments in daily life where this coin played a role. The obverse design of the half-dollar remains instantly recognizable. Even with circulation wear, the portrait still commands attention and respect. The strong features and balanced composition reflect decades of careful design choices meant to symbolize leadership, stability, and national identity. These qualities endure, even when the coin is no longer pristine. On the reverse side, the design continues to express strength and tradition. While some finer details may be softened by circulation, the overall imagery remains powerful. It serves as a reminder that American coinage has always aimed to balance artistry with symbolism, creating pieces that are both functional and meaningful. Many people assume that only shiny, untouched coins hold value, but experienced collectors know that this is not always true. Circulated coins can be just as fascinating, sometimes even more so, because they tell real stories. A 1979 half-dollar in circulated condition has lived a life, and that life is part of what makes it interesting. The half-dollar denomination itself has an unusual place in modern American currency. Once common, it slowly faded from everyday use, making later examples feel rare in daily transactions. By 1979, the half-dollar was already becoming less common in circulation, adding a subtle sense of scarcity and nostalgia to the coin. Coins without mint marks often challenge collectors to look deeper. Without a visible letter to draw attention, the focus shifts to the coin's condition, history, and overall character. This encourages a more thoughtful approach to collecting and helps people appreciate the quieter aspects of numismatics. Circulated condition also makes this coin relatable. Unlike museum-quality pieces locked away behind glass, this half-dollar was part of real life. It may have been used to buy groceries, pay for fuel, or given as change in a small shop. These everyday connections give the coin a human dimension. Collectors often say that modern coins are underestimated, and the 1979 half-dollar is a perfect example. Because it is not extremely old, many people overlook it. Yet as time passes, coins from the late 20th century are becoming more interesting to collectors who value historical context as much as age. The Philadelphia Mint's role in producing this coin adds depth to its story. As the oldest mint in the country, it represents continuity and tradition. A coin without a mint mark connects directly to that legacy, linking the present to the origins of American coinage. Studying circulated coins can also reveal fascinating details about how coins wear over time. The way certain areas smooth out faster than others tells a story about handling patterns and design durability. This half-dollar becomes a small lesson in how metal interacts with daily use. The decline of the half-dollar in everyday commerce makes each circulated example feel like a survivor from a fading era. It reminds us that currency evolves, and what was once common can become unusual within a generation. Many people unknowingly store half-dollars in drawers, jars, or boxes, assuming they are worth only face value. Coins like this 1979 example often sit unnoticed, waiting for someone curious enough to look closer and ask questions. The surface of this coin reflects time itself. It has aged naturally, shaped by hands and pockets rather than by artificial preservation. This natural aging gives it a sense of honesty and realism that appeals to many collectors. The late 1970s were marked by uncertainty and change, and this coin carries that atmosphere in a subtle way. It is a small reminder of a larger historical moment, preserved in metal and design. The consistent design of the half-dollar across decades creates a feeling of stability. Seeing familiar imagery on a coin from 1979 connects it to both earlier and later issues, reinforcing the idea of continuity in American currency. As online communities and videos continue to share stories of surprising coin values, more people are becoming curious about what they might already own. This renewed interest has brought attention back to coins like the 1979 half-dollar. Circulated condition does not erase importance. Instead, it highlights endurance. This coin has survived years of use, economic changes, and shifts in spending habits, yet it remains intact and recognizable. Coins from this era are now old enough to be historical but young enough to feel familiar. This balance makes them especially intriguing to collectors who enjoy bridging past and present. Understanding the background of a coin changes how it is seen. Once you know where it was minted, when it was made, and what was happening at the time, it transforms from spare change into a historical object. The half-dollar size and symbolism ensure it always stands out among American coins. Even worn, it demands attention and invites curiosity. Every collector remembers the moment they realized an ordinary-looking coin could be something more. This 1979 half-dollar has the power to spark that realization. As years go by, fewer circulated examples will remain in active use. Some will be lost, others stored away, and some rediscovered by curious collectors, increasing interest over time. Next up. The United States of America half-dollar coin from the year 1988 carries a quiet elegance that often goes unnoticed by the casual observer, yet it holds a depth of character that becomes clear the moment you truly study it. This is a coin born in a modern era, yet shaped by decades of tradition, design consistency, and national symbolism. When you first encounter it, especially in very fine condition, there is an immediate sense that this coin has been well cared for, respected, and preserved through time. Holding a 1988 half-dollar in your hand feels different from handling smaller coins. Its size and weight give it authority, reminding us that the half-dollar was once an important part of everyday American commerce. Even though it is no longer commonly used in daily transactions, the coin still carries that legacy of significance. In very fine condition, the surfaces remain pleasing, with most major details sharp and only light where visible. This particular coin bears the S Mint mark, indicating it was produced at the San Francisco Mint. The San Francisco Mint is famous for its role in producing high-quality coins, often associated with superior strikes and careful craftsmanship. Coins with the S Mint mark are frequently viewed with special interest, as they are often linked to a higher standard of production and attention to detail. The year 1988 sits within a fascinating period of American history. It was a time of technological growth, cultural change, and economic evolution. Coins minted during this era quietly witnessed these shifts, moving through hands and wallets as the country advanced toward a new decade. This half-dollar is a small but tangible piece of that broader story. In very fine condition, this coin shows only gentle signs of circulation. The high points of the design remain strong, the lettering is clear, and the overall appearance is balanced and attractive. This level of preservation suggests the coin may not have spent much time in heavy circulation, making it especially appealing to collectors who value both history and visual quality. The obverse design immediately captures attention with its familiar and dignified portrait. Even after years have passed, the image retains its strength and clarity. The lines are confident, the expression steady, and the surrounding inscriptions remain crisp. This enduring design reflects the timeless qualities the half-dollar has always represented. Turning the coin over reveals a reverse design that continues the theme of strength and tradition. In very fine condition, the details are still easily appreciated, from the bold central imagery to the carefully arranged elements around it. The craftsmanship is evident, reminding us that even modern coins are the result of thoughtful artistic effort. Many people assume that only very old coins can be valuable or interesting, but coins like this 1988 half-dollar challenge that idea. Modern-era coins can carry just as much intrigue, especially when they come from respected mints and are preserved in appealing condition. The S Mint mark adds a layer of distinction. Collectors often pay close attention to mint marks, knowing they can influence desirability and collectability. San Francisco, Minted coins have a reputation that naturally draws interest, even before other factors are considered. Very fine condition represents a sweet spot for many collectors. It shows that the coin has lived a life, yet it has not lost its beauty. This balance between use and preservation gives the coin character without sacrificing clarity or appeal. The half-dollar denomination itself has an interesting place in American culture. Once widely used, it gradually faded from everyday circulation, making later examples feel special simply because they are less commonly seen. A 1988 half-dollar stands as a reminder of that transition. Coins like this often end up tucked away in collections, drawers, or boxes, sometimes forgotten. Yet rediscovering such a piece can be exciting, especially when its condition and mint mark hint at deeper significance. The surface of this coin reflects careful handling over the years. Light wear tells a story of movement and exchange, while the preserved details suggest respect for the coin's value and appearance. Collectors who focus on condition understand how important it is. Very fine examples allow you to appreciate design details that are often lost on heavily circulated coins, making each viewing more rewarding. The San Francisco Mint's influence is visible in the coin's overall quality. The strike feels confident, the details well-defined, and the coin's balance pleasing to the eye. Coins from the late 1980s are now reaching an age where nostalgia plays a role in collectability. People who grew up during that era are beginning to appreciate tangible objects from their past, including coins like this one. This half-dollar also represents continuity. Despite changing times, economic shifts, and new designs in other denominations, the half-dollar maintained its familiar appearance, offering a sense of stability. The idea that a modern coin can hold serious value surprises many people. This surprise is part of what makes coin collecting so exciting, turning everyday objects into potential treasures. The very fine condition of this coin allows collectors to study the artistry without distraction. The balance between relief and field remains visible, showcasing the engraver's intent. Coins with S-mint marks often invite closer inspection, as collectors look for subtle qualities that set them apart. This attention adds to the coin's allure. As fewer half-dollars appear in circulation, interest naturally grows. Coins that were once common begin to feel rare simply because they are no longer seen often. This 1988 half-dollar encourages viewers to rethink what they know about coin value. Age alone does not define worth. Condition, mint, and demand all play crucial roles. The coin's journey from mint to present day adds invisible value. It has survived years of change, yet it remains intact and recognizable. For collectors, discovery is everything. Finding a well-preserved coin from a respected mint can spark excitement and curiosity. The half-dollar's large canvas allows its design to shine, and in very fine condition, that design still speaks clearly across decades. Coins like this remind us that history is not always ancient. Sometimes it lives quietly in objects from our own lifetime. The San Francisco Mint's legacy adds prestige, reinforcing the idea that not all coins are created equal. This coin stands as proof that careful observation can reveal hidden potential in familiar items. As interest in numismatics continues to grow, coins from the modern era are gaining renewed respect and attention. This half-dollar invites collectors and viewers alike to look closer, learn more, and appreciate the details. In rare collector discussions and exceptional valuation circumstances, a United States of America half-dollar coin from 1988 with an S-mint mark in very fine condition has been associated with a value of $45,000.